God is so good. There is only one life. That life is everything we see, everything we feel, everything we do, everything we experience, everything we are. And that there's only one. I understand and know that each of us, siblings in the Spirit, each of us siblings in that outcasting of light from that pyramid of source. Each of us playing a part. I recognize and know that there is only right now. That what we do in each and every moment contributes to the next. And that makes me really happy because I feel good right now. I feel joy right now. So I claim this joy. I claim this joy for each and every person. Each and every person that can hear my voice and each and every person that can't. Each and every person that does not feel available to joy becomes available in this moment. The joy that is innate, the joy that we came out of the womb with, that joy of breath, of life. I claim that availability, and I claim it for each and every person. The birthright. And I simply give gratitude for the principle that makes my word absolutely fact and true in this moment. Simply because I said it and I believe it. So I release it into its greatest and highest potential. And I know you all will help it soar. And so it is.
So it is.
I'm going to borrow a trifold. Thank you. Okay, so we have an affirmation each month, and I will read it first out loud, and then invite you to say it with me. I prepare the ground of my life with intention and care, choosing what I plant with love and wisdom. In your bifold, I should have said this sooner, the affirmation is there for you. Together? I prepare the ground of my life with intention and care, choosing what I plant with love and wisdom. I think I can commit to that today. How about you?
Yeah.
Did you feel what you said? Did you hear what you said? Did you taste what you said? Because joy is tasting good today. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Reverend Ron, because it's probably the only time this year I'm going to get to do that. So, a long time ago, I'm just kidding. I'm excited to hear your message. Come on, Ebony. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'm no longer on the stage. You prepared me and then gave me those.
That's right. We had a quick technical change, so bear with me just a second. Okay, so that chant, God is the love that I am.
Yes.
Is it true?
Yes.
Yeah. I think most of us would agree that it's probably true. What about I am the love that God is?
Yes.
Yeah. Now we could probably debate, am I all the love that God is? Maybe, maybe once I felt it. I don't know that that's true, right? But I just like to pose that the opposite way because it causes us to think. It causes us to not just move on to the next thing. God is the love I am, God is the love I am the love that God is. That sounds to me a little more ominous, a little more ownership, a lot more responsibility, right? You get to decide. And that's what we're going to talk about a lot. It's that space in between, this or that. It's that space in between where we decide which side do we resonate with and why. You know, in the newsletter, if you read this week's, and if you didn't get it, there is a sign up over on the table just around the corner. I can label things as wrong. That's not new. I think probably a lot of us can do that. I like to visualize sticky notes, as I've shared before, that I place on things. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. All based on some level of belief that I have. And some days I feel like I've almost run out of wrong sticky notes. Like I need to get more. I've gone through them all. And that sense can feel overwhelming. Look at it another way. You turn on the news, for example. It's easy to look at any news program, probably almost anywhere, and see what is wrong. And yet we know that isn't all there is. We know that there's more to life than that. So when do I get to the point of proclaiming, that's a lie? When do I get to the point of proclaiming that what I'm being shown, this condition, this situation, is not the truth? That it's a lie. But then we talk about paradox. If I just come out and admit I'm lying, is that a lie or is that the truth? Right? I guess the answer would be, it depends.
You're a marketer.
There you go. Is it a lie or is it the truth? Depends on who is receiving it. Depends on what beliefs I have. It's whether or not I resonate with that. Whether or not I decide that it's the truth or that it's a lie. So the paradox, again, is an opportunity to question, what is it that I'm holding as true? Is it really the truth? Or is it a lie I've made up, bought into, decided to live with? So I came up with some definitions. Well, I didn't come up with definitions. I found some definitions. Merriam-Webster says that a paradox is a statement or sentiment that is seemingly contradictory or opposed to common sense, and yet is perhaps true. That's as clear as a paradox. Those are the things that make you go, Ernest Holmes said in Living Without Fear, the riddle of the universe is a paradox. The question is its own answer. For the mind that asks the question is also the mind that answers it. I was, many years ago, getting ready to take my test panels for becoming a practitioner. And I was nervous. It's one thing to study all of this material, yet quite another to have someone grade your answers and decide whether or not the last 2 years that you've spent studying, another 2 years of prereqs, whether or not that turns into your dream of being a practitioner, whether that dream is false or true. And they said, just remember, the mind that wrote the test is the mind that takes the test. I see some scrunched up foreheads. Right? That's a little bit different than what I said before, right? Because we talked about, or as Holmes was talking about, it's still talking about the one mind. The one universal mind, sometimes called the race consciousness, where all of the beliefs that have ever been thought, ever been said, are held and are available to us at any time, anywhere, if we're in alignment, if we're really, really, really ready to receive that truth. In recovery, you've heard me talk about that before, there are 4 primary paradoxes, at least in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's the 12-step program I'm most familiar with. One is you have to surrender to win. Well, I don't know where you are in the concept of surrender, but sometimes that can feel really, really scary. That my will, my little belief system is all I have. It's all that is holding everything together. And if I give that up, everything's going to fall apart. And what this is saying is, yeah, that's how that feels, but that's not the truth. When we surrender, we open ourselves up to what's new. A new opportunity, a new thought, a new existence. You have to give it away to keep it. We use something like that here, right? That's the law of abundance, the circle of reciprocity, the law of reciprocity. That if, let me put it another way, birthdays are a challenge for me. So are Christmas a bit. I like to some extent, I like the buying of gifts. I need to be honest. Sometimes that's a challenge too. But to watch others open gifts is a joy. To celebrate someone else's birthday and watch their excitement as you got them what it is you knew they'd love, and they really do. That's exciting. To be sitting there opening the gift and having all eyes on you feels different to me. It feels different. And yet, I have to be able to receive the good if I want to give the good.
Say that again.
Oh, the paradox is give it away to keep. I have to receive the good to give the good. Right? It sets off a whole chain of events if I withhold my good of receiving it. Where's that good going to flow? I've now blocked someone else's flow of abundance, that one that was trying to give to me. Someone wants to buy us lunch. How often do we say, no, that's okay? And maybe it is, I'm not going to judge that, but there's more to receiving than just getting. We're allowing that circle to take place. Now remember, this is Alcoholics Anonymous paradox. You have to suffer to get well. Right? So when you put that in science of mind context, that gets a little sticky, right? that sounds like there are consequences to our actions. It sounds like there's penalties, punishment, and we don't buy into that. What they're saying is that the pain of addiction, including the emotional pain of facing reality, is necessary in order for us to move through. And there's some truth in that. If you ever go to see a practitioner, they may very well ask you more questions about that which makes you wince than that which makes you light up. Because it's in that wincing that is just as creative as the good. Just as creative. And we have to die to live. Right? We have to let go of that which no longer serves, just like our body does. Shedding all of those cells all of that time. Wouldn't that be creepy if we could see them as I walked across the room? All the cells falling off. But that's what's happening, right? Constantly replenishing. Our mind is no different. And so I found those paradoxes to be absolutely life-saving, because they aren't logical to me. And I think that's the gift of a paradox, is that it's not something we would typically just think of. We would just go on with whatever belief it was that we grabbed onto and go on our merry way. So in the 5th century, before the Common Era, which in Christianity is referred to before Christ, I think it's Zeno, could be Zeno, does anybody know? Okay. A philosopher. He offered arguments that led to conclusions that contradicted what we all know from our physical experiences. A little bit of a trickster, perhaps. So they were paradoxes meant for Greek philosophers. And he came up with the belief that space and time are infinitely divisible. He was the first person to show, that we know of, that said that the idea of infinity is problematic. He actually said problematical, but that sounded weird. So he talked about motion, and Ken and I argued about this a bit yesterday. So suppose that Achilles, who we can assume, according to mythology, was the fastest runner there ever was, and he's racing to catch a tortoise. Well, he knows he's fast, right? And so he's going to give that tortoise a head start. And again, according to, what did we decide? Zeno. If he's going to race the tortoise, he's going to have to get to halfway to where the tortoise is. Okay? So he's going to say, okay, the tortoise is there where Trish is sitting. So I know that I have to at least get to about where Doug's foot is, about halfway. And then I'll be on my way. Well, then I get to where Doug's foot is, and the tortoise has moved a little bit. I'm going to go, okay, well, I'm going to go another halfway. And so I end up somewhere over by these cabinets. And the tortoise continues to move a little bit, and I say, okay, well, I'm going to divide that again and say I'm going to go halfway. I'm never going to catch the tortoise. Ken assured me he was going to catch the tortoise. But the argument shows that anyone who believes Achilles will successfully catch the tortoise, more generally, that motion is physically possible, is the victim of illusion. So just because there's motion doesn't guarantee me catching up to that. Again, its whole intent is to make you go, huh? And think it through. And decide for yourself, is that true? Well, I think mathematically, it's true. Ken says no, he's going to run past the tortoise, and, you know, that'll be that. So light and dark. The name of the talk is A Paradox Where Light and Dark, I think, cooperate. Which is it? Is it light or is it dark?
Yes.
Yes. There are some places where the light is more intense. Probably here. That. There are other places, back where Reverend Linda is, on the bench, where the light is less intense. Is it dark? Or is the light just less intense? You could say yes, either way. But again, the intent is to cause you to ponder, perhaps, am I anchoring to the belief in light, or am I anchoring to the belief in darkness? We believe that that which we hold as true, that which we focus on, is what shows up in our experience. So if I'm anchoring into, God, it's dark. Everything is just so dark. I'm going to see examples of that. I get to be right. I often, when I choose something like that, because none of us are immune to maybe not even realizing we've grabbed onto that belief until we start to see the effect of that belief. And Spirit always says yes. I say the world is dark and scary. And Spirit says yes, my beloved. I think that Spirit laughs a little bit and says, if I were you, I'd choose something else. But okay. But okay. Parker Palmer, in A Hidden Wholeness, says, the deeper our faith, the more doubt we must endure. The deeper our hope, the more prone we are to despair. The deeper our love, the more pain its loss will bring. These are a few of the paradoxes we must hold as human beings. As some of you know, if we're friends on social media, Ken and my little dog, Gladdy, made her transition last week, a week ago Thursday. Very sudden, it was just a usual Thursday. This wasn't what was supposed to happen on that day. And the pain has been very, very great. But that makes perfect sense to me, because the love was so, so great. She had these eyes that just every time you walked by just looked at you like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
How do you not respond with love to that? And so the pain is great. The pain is great. So before I move into closing, there's another story I have. There was a ship in Crete, long time ago. It gives me the names for the references, but I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to pronounce them all. Over time, that ship began to fall into disrepair. Made of wood, those planks began to rot, began to warp, needed to be replaced. And so as that occurred, they would replace a plank with new wood. Well, over the years, you can imagine that each one of those planks found itself in disrepair, and each one of those planks was replaced. Is it still that old ship? You could say either yes or no. Yes, the essence of the ship, that presence of the ship, and all that that name of that ship means is the same, perhaps, but the wood is new. The material is new. If I change clothes, or an outfit change, as I might refer to it, during the middle of the talk, am I still Reverend Ron? Probably. Probably many of us, especially in our youth, I would guess, have tried to change something about us to change others' perceptions of us, to fit in, to not bring attention, to cause attention, whatever that was, right? So paradox, probably the biggest lesson is it's something there that causes us to go, huh, and to pause long enough to have a new thought. To pause long enough to not automatically go with that old, well-worn belief. To pause long enough for a new idea, a new way of looking at it. And to get less caught up on the answer and more about the choice that we're making. There's so much going on in the world today, and we know about it all, right? There's never been a time in history where information has flowed so freely. It can feel overwhelming sometimes. A lot of the time. Let's call it what it is. I encourage you, don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. In the face of hateful acts, love still exists right in that place. Where war is ravaging lives, peace still resides. A mother is still holding their baby for the first time. That love is overflowing. Focus on it. Use that moment to pause and choose wisely as to what I'm going to focus on, so that I can begin to shift. I can anchor into that one mind that says it's not too late. There's still so many possibilities, my beloved. Choose wisely. Don't get distracted thinking the dark has won or could win, because the light is present. The light is both the hammer and the nail. Let's see if I can, that wasn't very smooth, but just bear with me a second.
We rehearsed this.
We So remember, it's both the hammer and the nail. And because you sat with me during this time, let me add a little something more. It depends on what I'm doing with it. Take a listen to this song by Daniel Nahmod. One moment. It'll come on.
With a hammer and nail, I can build most anything. A tree house for children, or a courthouse for judging. With a hammer and nail, I'll build a bank or a prison, a stage for musicians, or a skyscraper building. With a hammer and nail, a family on the street, the one you hardly see, can finally have a home. So while I have this chance, how will I use these hands? What will I do with a hammer and nail? With a hammer and nail, I can help with hard labor. Help with hard labor. Fix a boat for a sailor. Help lend a hand to a neighbor. Oh, with a hammer and nail, in the wake of destruction, I can lay a foundation. I can rebuild a nation. Oh, with a hammer and nail, a soldier coming home who paid the highest price for our freedom can finally rest in peace. So the question stands, if I only have these two hands, what will I do with a hammer and nail? Oh, what will I do with a hammer and nail? Will I build a wall or a bridge? Will I build a door and let everybody in? Oh, what will I do with a hammer and nail? Oh, and the whole world out there in desperate need of repair. Oh, what will I do? When the time has come, will I have shown my son what one man can do with a hammer and nail?
Just breathe that one in. Well, I asked a couple of our capable folks to maybe take the welcome table and turn it sideways so we have some room for space. Thank you, Reverend Ron. That was a wonderful paradox talk. I'm going to be giving all of those some thought today. You reminded me, oddly enough, our meditation this morning was centered around we are not mistakes. We're not bound by any mistakes that we've made. That I think I mentioned earlier, the principle is not bound by precedent, that we're free in each moment. And your talk, I mean, in so many ways. But there's a song by the Indigo Girls called Wood Song, and it's about a ship. And I'm now looking at those lyrics differently. So if y'all are inclined and like the Indigo Girls, go check that song out today. I think I will.
What's the name of it?
Wood Song.
Wood Song. Thank
Wood
you.
Song, yeah. So we've reached the time of our gifts and offerings. I want to share just a couple of notes before that. If you pay attention to building and fixture, the electrical panel for the building was changed out this last week. So we have the former knob and tube electrical that we were relying on is no longer active. We have just a teeny bit left, and that's because there's just one light that needs it, but the house is much safer now. We will be able to plug more equipment in the kitchen. We have more plugs in there. We'll be looking to put in a new heating system for next winter that will be ductless, and you'll see these base heaters go away. So that's one thing. Another thing, specifically that the generosity of this community has created, was we bought new toilets about a month and a half ago, I think, maybe 2 months ago. And our water bill literally has decreased by $200 since we purchased the house. So, and $200 per month now, and that's so $400, we spent $200 on the toilets. So just a thank you to the community for your generosity to show how with making repairs to an old house, a little bit goes a long way, and I'm very excited to have that news for you. So, if you do have a gift today, if you would hold it over your heart. If you don't, please take part in our ritual where you come to the altar here and bless a coin or a little tchotchke that's there, so that you can offer a blessing, or even if it's a prayer request, that you take part physically in that circulation practice that we hold so dear in Science of Mind. So either your heart or gift, hand or gift over your heart, and just repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit, I bless this gift.
From the love of pure spirit, I bless this gift.
It does great work in the world.
It does great work in the world.
And returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
If you're new, follow the crowd. I didn't get instructions.